Welcome to A Tribe Called Her, a podcast dedicated to uplifting women like you so they can make a difference. I am your host, Yejide Adewakun. In a world where women face the inner struggle to find their identity, we seemingly have less options. Through personal stories and authentic conversations, I will be creating a safe space to break away from the overwhelming pressure. Join me each week for empowering conversations. Hey ladies, welcome back to your favorite podcast, A Tribe Called Her. I am your host, Yejide Adewakun. If this is your first time listening to me, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a returning subscriber, I am so happy and excited to have you back. Did you notice that I used the words favorite podcast? We're speaking this thing into existence. In the meantime, please tell your friends to subscribe to A Tribe Called Her podcast. I'm sure we're going to have an amazing time here. So, what have you been up to since the last time you heard from me? As for me, apart from eating a lot of chocolate, let's just thank God for life and everything else. We can be talking about this losing weight and tummy issue later. I have also been dreaming of the next Owambe party once all of this is finally over. Speaking of dreams, that's how I dreamt that I went for a Lagos party. Before they allowed us to enter into the hall, we had to wash our hands first at the gates, and then somewhere in the compound, and then at the entrance of the hall. Eventually, we're given sanitizers to wipe our hands and then seated. Someone took my order and I asked for delicious Nigerian jollof rice and chicken. You know those smoky ones that they cook with firewood? I could taste it on my tongue already. The DJ was jamming and, I was seriously dancing and vibrating on my seat. I can't even remember what song he was playing, but I knew I was having fun. Just as they put the food down and I was about to dig in, I just remembered that, hey God, we're inside a dream. Oh. My enemy should not even be eating inside this dream. That's how I woke up. So village people 0, Yejide 1. Moving on to serious things. So I'm going to be talking about self-forgiveness, forgiving yourself. And I think this is something that's particular to a lot of us, not just only one person. So a lot of women deal with it. This is something I've dealt with for a long time. I got a mail some days ago from a subscriber and it inspired this episode. She has given me permission to read her story and here's what she has to say. Dear Yejide, I listened to your first podcast and I already feel like I can confide in you. Please keep me anonymous. Something happened to me and I have not been able to get over it. I dated this guy in uni for 2 years. Our relationship became toxic and we broke up. Several years later, we met again, started dating, but the toxic cycle began again. He used to beat me and I made excuses for his actions. One time he broke my head with a stick because I questioned him for staying out late with friends. I finally left him with physical and mental scars. I regret ever going back to him. I am 37 years scared of getting into another relationship. I knew I shouldn't have gotten back with him and I blame myself every day. I feel stuck and I keep thinking about this over and over again. So I read through this message and it felt so familiar. Familiar in the sense that I have spent a lot of time being hard on myself, going back and forth in my head, berating myself for the choices I made in the past. Anyone else beat themselves up for the things they did in the past? For not learning from previous mistakes and repeating them all over again? I'm sure you've probably asked yourself why you let that happen. Why you let it continue. If you have, sis, you're not alone. So, like I mentioned, this is not particular to just one person. It is something that's happened to a lot of women out there. And one of the things I noticed from my experience is how powerful the mind is. You can basically keep, playing back those moments and mistakes over and over again till you start to cringe in shame. It feels like you can't get past it, so you're stuck and you're hard on yourself. Sis, I need you to remember that you made that choice at that time because you did the best that you thought you knew. And that's okay. It's fine. You need this reminder whenever you feel that turmoil of shame, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, or whatever feeling life is throwing at you. I think one of our weaknesses as women is that we can be so hard on ourselves. We tend to give more weight to our flaws, our mistakes, and shortcomings. The concept of self-forgiveness actually allows us to accept what has happened and to move past it. So we get to move from a place of hurt to a place of peace. And that's because you can't accomplish anything from the constant back and forth in your head. So I came across this illustration that's helped me to gain new insight on forgiving oneself. And I hope it would, provide more insight for you too. So imagine walking around and then a big stone gets into your shoes. Rather than remove that stone, you move around with it. With each step you take, the stone bruises your foot and causes you so much pain. After a while, it starts to affect the way you walk and even run. You're constantly reminded of that pain every time you move. You can't concentrate on anything else except for the stone. At this point, I'm sure you're thinking, I'm going to take off that annoying stone. It's not so hard to figure out what is causing you so much pain. And that's how it feels when you carry the heavy baggage from past mistakes. The guilt will only eat away at you if you let it. You have been forgiven by the Most High, so forgive yourself. Let go of the resentment and the negative feeling. The bad decisions you made, they don't define you. Move on from the situation. In fact, let it be above you now. And don't forget that self-forgiveness is a process. So it might take a while, but you will eventually get to that place of healing. So I want everyone listening to me right now to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, and repeat after me. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am a walking trophy. I am worthy of forgiveness. I forgive myself for the bad decisions I took. I forgive myself for not learning from my previous mistakes and repeating them all over again. I forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know before I learned it. I find the internal strength to pull through. Does that feel good? Yeah. Don't you ever forget that you are beautiful and strong. Embrace the present and let the past go. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful that we got to spend this time together. If you love this episode, please leave a review so that more women can find this podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, cheers.